constraint that I'll just keep talking and I'll keep playing, and it's like at some point it'll really damage my merch sales. Just super honest, and I am a traveling bodega. I'm a convenience store. So it's in the future, and then once this goes off, I'll take requests. And I'm just going to manage expectations. There's a 50% chance that I will not be able to play.
Fair.
You like how I skew to the negative?
Yeah.
Concept was the title. I really do. I think that was it. And John did like this like really weird dub record at Tiny Telephone, the studio I run in San Francisco, like a couple of years ago. With this drummer and me, and it was really, really fun. And that may come out, so there might be that collaboration coming up. But yeah, we talked about doing another split. I would like that because I made a lot of money from doing it. Because when you connect yourself with John Darnielle is one of the most profitable artists I've ever seen. He's he's untouchable because he's very, very generous, and he's like super, he's very ethical about money and about like making sure people get credit and taking care of people. And we did a tour, the tour that we did, I remember I was like really, really in debt, and the tour that we did an acoustic tour. It was just me and him and Brandon, our joint tour manager, in a Toyota Sienna. That's where I was just like, Toyota Sienna might be the best touring vehicle ever fucking made. And we did a full tour on that record, Moon Colony Bloodbath, and he gave me 40% of the door.
Wow.
And I was in like severe money anxiety, and it kind of saved my life. I actually saw him in LA 2 weeks ago, and I reminded him. I mean, I see him all the time, but I reminded him how much that meant to me. What's your favorite alternate guitar tuning? I'm actually like really boring, and I don't do any alternate guitar tunings. It's like sad to say. I shouldn't have said that. I should have. I do all kinds of stuff it's almost like Joni Mitchell, like proprietary level. I can't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
No, I think partially because I'm usually writing songs on keyboards, and I'm also recording songs just to be completely deconstructed where you won't really necessarily have a guitar. You know, I was really proud on the last record that I made that I think is like one of my better records is almost devoid of any guitar. It's all keyboard. It's really mostly, honestly, it's like a lot of 808 and monophonic Moog, like a 3C synthesizer. And so I try to like take this or whatever harmonic information was like the basis of a song and just like erase it. And so I am lazy. So that's also plays into the detuning of the guitar. But also I play alone so much. I used to tour. It's funny, I was thinking about this the other day. When I started, I played in a trio. Then as I got bigger, I played in a quartet, then a quintet. And then as I got smaller, I went to a quartet, a trio, and then a duo. And now I play solo. I think it's kind of beautiful because it's like, listen, even the Beatles got smaller, you know what I mean? It's like every fucking person is gonna get smaller. Every band, every art entity, every human being is gonna like contract. And like, I think that it's kind of beautiful to properly scale what you're doing. And now it's just me in this 1952 J45, and like me going from beach to beach. That seems to be my touring strategy. I was born in Gainesville. I grew up in Swanee River in Gainesville and Jacksonville, and I was just in St. Augustine, and it's honestly been, my mom died 2.5 years ago, and it's been like really, really hard for me. I knew it was gonna be hard, but it was like really kind of awful to, you know, she was like my parent, right? I was like grew up a single mom. She's like my best friend. And it like, there's this trick that happens. I wish someone had told me, although maybe it doesn't matter, that you will spiral into this regret loop that is like infinite. It's fucking crazy, the shit that I regret. It's unbelievable. It's like the most, I remember like getting into an argument with my mom when I was 20, and I like think about it all the time. Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you rewire your brain from this stuff? So it was like 2 years, and then I got better and better at dealing with it. But then coming back here was like really hard. But it's just part of the process. My grandma, who I was very close to, lived maybe 3 minutes away from here, so it was like, that was intense. And like, I love Florida, but honestly, I'm kind of like stoked to get out of Florida just because the family shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like so much, like, it's like echoes of echoes. And you know what's weird too? What I don't understand is that like, these are really good memories. You know, like I grew up a weird kind of like sad kid, but my mom and my grandma were amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, these should be like beautiful memories. They shouldn't be like tragic and fucked up. They shouldn't make me feel poisoned. And yet, what is it about my brain that makes me feel that way, you know? I mean, I'm really struggling with this stuff. I mean, I'm mostly better, but that's part of me being here.
Welcome home, John.
It's great to be here, man, and I fucking love it. Oh, I'm sorry, what would you say?
I said, no, get out.
I know, now get the fuck out. Now go to New Orleans already. I do have 2 days off in New Orleans. I'm kind of excited about it. And like, I want to, you know, this is important too, and then I'm going to play music, but this was an important trip because I knew that it would be really, and just St. Augustine was such a big deal for my mom and me. We'd go down there with my brother all the time. And I knew that just coming here, I would just like take the psychological bullet and then just process. And then the next time I come back, it won't be fraught with as much pain. And then I can like, you know, like be more present. I mean, I was very present here and I had a fucking amazing time, so. 3-5, the night was only half alive. The curtains blow, the frightened trees line the moonlit, windy beach. 4, 5, 6, 7, my dreams never touched on heaven. They come, they stream, they laugh, they bleed. They drop me off in a thicket of reeds. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. Oh boy, a dog, the dunes, the sea. He stands in our thicket of reeds. No food cell or GPS. I watched him weeping from the trees. She was only half alive. Help me find my campsite, he said. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. Out bare. The night was only half alive. Skin raccoons hung from a line. For men, there is no turning back. They all had left with coonskin caps. The ember smoked and barely glowed. Gathered wood and started his own fire. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. Oh. My thing is, unless you film it or photograph it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Probably Eitzel.
Might be Eitzel. I like Mark, but someone told me that he was like mean to them when he did house show. I don't know if that's like the right.
Easily distracted. Like somebody was tapping along and he's like,
Damn. Damn.
he's like, I know I'm crazy.
Sure.
You guys just pretend like you're not there.
It's funny. I love Mark, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. 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 I think if you're a performer and you just go crazy, I don't think there's any way you can. Just like, you gotta feel sorry for all these people, man. You hear about like Kozlik going crazy on people, and like I remember once I played Cafe 11, and Ryan, the guy who used to own Cafe 11, who I guess does Icebox now in St. Augustine, he told me that Kozlik was just there and he was like yelling at people in the microphone. Like he was like yelling at like the sound person, and like, I was just like, that's a bad look, man. Because I just think I would be like the sound person. I'd be like, I want to disappear right now. It's not his fault, you know? Like if there's feedback, that's complicated shit. All right, I'm gonna play a song I never play. This is called Wild Strawberries. I played it in Tampa for the first time ever, and I'm gonna play it tonight. It's on Cellar Door. Holy and totally brave, I swam under dying Filipino light, fighting and furious against the tide. 'Cause I lost our keys in the sea, diving deep under coral reef, following tree line on the shore. I stumbled back to the road, left you on the hood of a rented Ford. Looked back, it was the last time I saw you alive. And still life follows the same rules that I do, reflecting off the water, never making it down to the bottom. That's like the big like shift with Bowie. And also he played all the guitar on Diamond Dogs, which was unusual for him. I think it's the most Bowie record. It's peak methamphetamine, peak cocaine, and it's also peak cut up lyric style shit. It's like the most surrealist abstract writing that he did. And I think it's and it, you know, it's interesting because you probably know the story, but he was trying to do an adaptation, a loose adaptation of 1984, and the Orwell estate was not going along with it. So he was clashing with them, and then he had to bail on this idea in the middle of the record. And that further disrupted the continuity of the album. But it's just it's a real like question mark in his like, like titanic fucking 70s output. I mean, if you think about just the 1970, really to Scary Monsters, right? But if you think about what he did between Hunky Dory and Scary Monsters in 10 years, it's crazy. Okay, this guy, he made a record every year, and he played arenas, and then he's like, I want to be some fascist dude, then White Duke, and then I want to do Philly Soul, and then I want to go to Berlin and be, you know what I mean? Like, and he started movies. He came up with Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane, like all these different, like characters that were, it was insane. But it's like I think if you look at like, I don't know, I think that no one's gonna want to hear this because everyone hates Kanye West, but if you look at like Kanye West's output in the past 8 years, has also been really interesting. And he's gonna drop a record that's gonna be either really bad because he's not gonna make secular music anymore, so I don't know what that means for him. But like if you think about that, like that run, or the run that Radiohead is still having and Tom York is still having, this is not easy to do. So I don't know, I just think this is like a really interesting record. And there's something about too that the problems of Diamond Dogs to me are like really, there's some like hokey shit on it that I love. You know what I mean? Like it's like I think that it's the flaws of your heroes that are the most exciting. It's like if you're in love with someone and they're like kind of irritating in this way, and it's like it makes you love them even more because you're irritating too, man. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like in relief you can really see how beautiful this person is, you know, and like I don't know, I really see how beautiful he was. It's safe in the city to love in a doorway, to wrangle some screams from the door. Putting pain in a stranger, like a portrait in flesh, betrayals on a leash. Will you see that I'm scared and I'm lonely? So I break up my room and yawn and run to the center of things, where the knowing one says, boys, boys, it's a sweet thing. 'Cause oh, boys, it's a sweet thing, sweet thing. If you want it, that make you smile? Not me. I'm in your way, and I'll steal every moment. This trade is a curse, and I bless you and run to the crossroads of Hamburg. Boys, boys, it's a sweet thing. Boys, it's a sweet thing, sweet thing. If you want it, boys, get it here thing. So, boys, it's a cheap thing, cheap thing. Wrote this on tour with the Mountain Goats in Australia. And Darnielle was in the next room, and one day we had like a week off after the end of this tour, and he comes in my room, he's like, man, there's this crazy fucking bird that keeps coming on the balcony. It's a kookaburra. You got to see this thing. It's like unbelievable. And it was just this prehistoric, like beautiful, very aggressive, beautiful bird.
It's a bird.
It was amazing. Lightning shot from the sky. It breathed life into every living thing. Made you and made me. It gave us the kookaburra. It gave us frangipane tree. Dusk to dawn and dawn to dusk. The sky will fill with vaporized dust, rain, white on white, like streamers of dirty confetti on white. The Chrysler Tower had disappeared. White on white, the Capitol dome was invisible. On white, the hoisted flag had disappeared. It can't be stopped. Thunder clouds are tightening in the sky tonight. We can't be safe. Electricity will scribble out your name. Lightning shot from the sky. It gives, it takes away from every living thing. It made you, it made me. It gave us the terabyte, it gave us 117. From dusk to dawn and dawn to dusk. The sky will fill with vaporized dust, rain, white on white, like streamers of dirty confetti on white. The looming spire had disappeared. White on white, the Bundestag was invisible. On white, the hoisted flag disappeared. White phosphor rain and blackout bombs are falling out the sky tonight. We can't be safe. Electricity is crossing off your family name. gave us the kookaburra, it gave us frangipane. A radical masterpiece. It's fascinating that he made, if you listen to the record before that, and then you listen to 22 Million, you're like, what the fuck happened? Kanye happened. You know what I mean? This record sounds nothing like talk about unrelated activities. Like this and this, like there's no guitar on this. There's like literally nothing but me trying to like be like JPEG Mafia on this record. That's like, that's what's happening.
Awesome.
But like, I think that, so I kind of like that when the inspiration is like fucked up, when it's like wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like when you can't quite get there. Like I listen to like, I don't know, Young Nudie or something. I can't get there. Or I listen to like
Playboy Cardi?
Yeah, I
like
like the Pierre Bourne stuff. Is
Yeah,
really
I love Pierre Bourne.
I know,
I
he's
love
really
Pierre.
good. So Pierre Bourne's like a producer really that was made famous by like working on Die Lit, and and it's like just the opening song. It's like, it just has this like really cool duophonic synth that plays the same melody line for 4 minutes. It's captivating.
Never gets old.
Never gets old.
Never
It's like
gets
one of the most pleasant thing you've ever heard.
Totally.
And like. And Playboy Cardi, this guy, he couldn't write a good couplet to save his life if there was a gun pointing at him. But the record's good.
The energy,
you know what I mean?
the
And like,
energy.
it's the energy's great, and the vibe is like amazing. And it's amazing because that record, like, that's a lot of people's like record of the year last year. You know, like people got into that record. So, but I mean, the people ask me when I'm listening. It's like the lowest hanging fruit is rap. You want to like wake up excited.
Oh yeah.
Follow my Spotify playlist, man. I put like hundreds of hours into my rap. I have 3 rap playlists, 2017, 2018, 2019. They're like 5 hours long. And a lot of singles, you know? It's the lowest hanging fruit. Don't you think? It's just like, it's crazy how much good shit is coming out in the rap world. Danny Brown's record's about to come out.
I love Danny Brown too.
That's
The
gonna be
singles
good.
are so good.
And Q-Tip and JPEG
They're working
Maffia's on
together,
that.
yeah.
That's gonna be really good. That single is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an exciting time. I think music has never been better. I think it's never been better. I mean, maybe like classical composition has been better. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it probably has. Like this was like 1840. I would say that might be the place to look. You know what I mean? But like, I'm sure there's great, like weirdo classical people operating right now. I just don't know. Okay, I'm going to answer a question, but it's just a stall tactic to tune my guitar. How has it changed for smaller artists since you started industry-wise? You know what's wild is that I would say, and I don't say this, there's no judgment in this, but I would say it's all the same shit. All of it. It's like exactly the same. And that a small artist, and like by small, I mean, I don't know, anyone like Titus Andronicus, Pink Mountaintops, Foxygen on down. Like I'm just looking at like posters of Arab Strap on down, Gang Gang Dance on down. Like anyone that didn't like break into like, you know, playing like 3,000, you know, capacity theaters. Like the economics have always been the same, and it was the same when I first started touring, and my first tour was in 2001. And like what's changed is like I don't know why musicians are so crabby about Spotify, because we used to drive around. First thing we do on tour, we would come here and we would beg Andrew to take 4 of our records on consignment. He would probably say, I'll take 1 because he only has limited space. And it's like we have the ability now to like, anyone can listen. You can go home and listen to the Cedars if you want. It's all good. You listen to you can listen to Playboy Cardi. You can listen to anything we're talking about without paying any fucking money. Like this is amazing. I mean, I remember when Napster hit, and I was like, every cell in my body was like, this is amazing. And I was on Barsook at the time, and I gave an interview to Wired, and I was like way pro Napster. Yeah. And man, those days the hammer would come down on you. And the owner, Barsook Josh, who's a fucking awesome person, great person, really amazing. I respect him so much. And I was on that label for 8 years, and I respect him. That's like, he's amazing. But he brought the hammer down on me the next day, and like, I get it, but any artist would rather have like pure, like an unmediated relationship with you. So I think that one thing that's happened is that relationship has gotten easier, but the economics are exactly the same. Bands never made any money from royalties. 1971, 1981, 1991, 2001, 2011, 2021. If Trump's our president in 2021, I'm out of here. I'm gone. Say did I tune up? Does anyone remember me tuning? So I changed my strings today. I changed my strings I'm going to tell you something about strings. It's kind of interesting. This is a 1952 J45. I bought this for $2,800 from Old Town Music in Portland. It took me a year to pay it off, and when I got it, it kind of changed my life because it's really just it's just a basic, solid, good sounding acoustic guitar, but it sounds good. It really, really matters where your strings are. These things are alive. So they've changed since I started playing, because I changed them this morning. Usually I try to do it the night before. I couldn't do it last night. They're right now, this is like the best window right now. For the next hour, I'm just telling you, this is the best. These are good strings. This is a good guitar. This is the peak of this experience right now. It was too bright when I first started playing. Now everything's a little bit more muted, a little bit more mid-heavy, balanced, and you're gonna hear it. This is a song, a love letter to the dark web. Swiss scales with .001 details. Stationary drones controlled by rotary phones. Night sky and powdered light. Rock steady, steady rhymes when stars collide. I looked underneath covers. I pulled back and then pulled back. I pulled back and then pulled back. I looked underneath covers. I looked underneath covers. I pulled back and then pulled back. I pulled back and then pulled back. I looked deep, burst down until Park Library closed for real. Night sky and powdered light. Rock steady, steady rhymes when warrants collide. Cold dust, go slow, you must. Are you ready? Are you ready for the real stuff? I looked underneath covers. I looked underneath covers. I pulled back and then pulled back. I pulled back and then pulled back. I looked underneath covers. I looked underneath covers. I pulled back and then pulled back. I pulled back
desert in the last light of day. We search for the footprints of Bobby Beausoleil. Out in the desert past the LA County line, Bobby buried the canister in the middle of the night. I'm not alright, I'm not alright, I'm really not up for the fight. Slow it down, slow it down, down, down. Slow it down, slow it down, down, down. The gears grind on as the van accelerates. Some things buried deep need to stay that way. I'm not alright, I'm not alright, I'm really not up for the fight. Slow it down, slow it down, down, down. Slow it down, slow it down, down, down. Pencil filled with lead, I took a shot, it's all she got. I took a knock, it's everything she got. Forgive me, I'm ready to live. Till then, I'm defending again. It's how I owned oblivion. Forget me not, or I'll never stop. Never stop. Never, ever stop. It's 4 p.m. Bad shit is closing in. Put the stereo on, boost the top end. Can't write a song, strap the capo on. Can't close the deal, play defender until dawn. Forgive me, I'm ready to live. Until then, I'm defending again. It's how I owned oblivion. Forget me not, or I'll never stop. Never stop. Never, ever stop. Tell me how the world took you down. Tell me how. Tell me how. I'll do my best to give you some rest. I've been a terrible friend, but I'm back here again. I'm back from the dead. I was out of my
that I'm back here again. Like when someone like people hate like Houston, for instance, you know, or Philadelphia, or rap music. I mean, do you know how many engineers hate rap music? It's crazy. But like, when people hate LA, I think that when something is hated, oh, cruelty.
Are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah, you have to finish what you're gonna say.
For real to the end.
When things are like hated, I think you should look at them again. I think that you should give them another shot because they might be very fucking good. Things that are underrated are
There it
good.
is. So we'll give Trump another 4 years.
Hey, he's got 80% of the
Let's
Republican
not
Party.
teach
Oh my
him,
God.
alright,
I was thinking of them as
guys?
well.
Yeah, he's not underrated. So like for instance, San Francisco. If I tell people, because I travel all the time. I'm just in like every weird city. I was just in Lubbock, Texas the other day. Like, where do you live? If I say, oh, I live in San Francisco, 99.9% of the time someone's going to say, oh, that's incredible. And if I say I live in LA, 85% of the time they'll be like, oh, God, there's so much traffic and like really like
Well, I mean,
and San Francisco fucking sucks. And LA is life. You guys visit me in LA and you'll be like, oh, I guess I gotta change my tune about LA. I'm like, yes, you do have to change your tune about LA. So maybe those underrated. And Philly, it's fucking magic. Houston, well, one of the most exciting food cities in the country. You could just do a food tour of Houston and have an amazing time. Go to the Menil museums. Go to the Rothko Chapel. The Dan Flavin building. Live a little.
When's your travel website coming out? Oh my
It's
God.
live right now. All right,
maybe
I'm gonna play. I love LA. I'm gonna play like one or two songs of my own choosing, and then if you want to hear a song, think about what you want to hear, and there's a 50% chance that I can. And I'll play it.
Shit.
Yes, and
What's the? I can't read this question. So it was something. What's the wasted fun you've had at a show? What's the
Most.
worst? The most? Can you?
What's the worsted fun you've had? I think it's the worst.
Is it the worst fun? Does anyone know who wrote this? Because I just want to answer it properly. What's the worst fun you had at a show?
Or wasted?
What's the
Yeah.
most?
You might as well just answer both questions.
It's
Worst
It's
and
tough,
wasted.
right?
What's the most wasted
We need a
and the worst?
We need a handwriting expert.
Call the FBI.
Heard it says the most. What's the worsted fan? Oh, I think it's the worst fan you've heard at
Oh.
a show.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is recent. This was in Houston actually. So
Ha, a great place.
no, Houston is great. Well, there's boneheads everywhere. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like,
That's
there's
true.
definitely boneheads everywhere. But there's mostly not boneheads everywhere, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Like if someone was like, what have you learned from like, I mean, I've played like almost every city. Like I've played almost 1,100 shows. And like the takeaway is that like most people are fucking amazing. And I deal with people I deal with like people fixing my car or people like yelling at me from out of their car because I have blue hair or green hair. Do you know what I mean? Like I deal with people on a lot of different levels, you know, and like mostly people are totally amazing. But so I was in. So this guy. This house was badass. This guy, he did heart surgery on infants. This guy who owned the house that I played. So he was paid for that shit. I'm sure that's like the most stressful thing you could ever do. I mean, come on. And so this house was like super beautiful, and he was a cool host. It was a great house. But this has never happened before. Someone came in 20 minutes late So I always start right at 8. And someone came in 20 minutes late. It was a guy and his girlfriend. And there was nowhere to sit. And so I was just like, hey, like, you should just come in the front here and sit. So he was just like, had to scrunch in right here in front of people that were sitting. So he had this like bag, and it was like a kind of a kit to make cocktails, which I thought was like a little like hectic for going to a house show. Do you know what I mean? It's just like bring some craft beers, man. Keep it simple. But so he was kind of like making cocktails, and like they had a mixer, and they had like some hard liquor, and then he kept kind of he wasn't shaking, thank God, but he kept whispering to his girlfriend about like, and I'm playing some like, you know, heartbreaking song, you know, like at my low point, and he's whispering. And I'm thinking, okay, he's just asking, is it too strong or is the drink good or something? And this whispering's gonna stop.
Nope.
But it doesn't stop. So he keeps whispering, he's whispering, and I'm just like, so then I'm like forced, this never happens ever at a house show. It just never happens. And so I'm forced to kind of like get eye contact with him, because I don't like to call people out. I'll do it in a bar. I don't like to do it because people have social anxiety. I don't want to make people, I don't want to hurt anybody ever. You know what I mean? Like, and so I kind of get eye contact with him, playing like, hey, I'm right here, I'm looking at you, I can hear you. And so then he like stops whispering. So then a couple songs later, he starts whispering again, and it continues on. It's like really, like, God knows what Eitzel would have gone fucking apeshit. You know what I mean? So I like stop a song. I'm playing Transmanual, and I stop in the middle of it. And I'm like, hey man, I'm really sorry to say that. I'm so sorry. Like it's just distracting to me. I don't want to call you out or make you feel like crazy. Like this happens. Don't worry about it. You know, I was like totally mellow, super chill about it. And so he was like, oh, no problem. And I was like, okay, cool. So then after the show, he just like leaves immediately. And so I'm just like, man, I wanted to like talk to him, make sure he wasn't bummed out. But I was like, couldn't be that bummed out. The next day, he writes me an email, and it was probably the longest email. It was longer than when Dana Locke and I broke up, and we had been going out for 3 years. It was longer than our decoupling, manifesto. It was like maybe 5 or 6 paragraphs, and it was like I couldn't even read it. And it was, first off, I thought it was funny. I was just like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, how dare you humiliate me in front of like all these people? And it was just like, it was the most, I was just like, this guy's either gonna kill someone or he's not gonna survive this world. Like, you can't be this sensitive about stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really sensitive, and I think it's ridiculous, you know? I cry all the time. I was listening to Dissect, the podcast Dissect, very, very good music podcast. I started crying today. Driving from St. Augustine, beautiful roads, start crying. It's touching. And so I'm like, whatever is happening, I'm like, I'm not into this right now. Yeah. So I'm just like, you are 100% wrong. Like, I'm sorry, man, but like usually I don't even respond to this shit, but you're totally wrong, like completely wrong. Like everything you're saying is completely delusional. And I'm not like that. I don't attack. I'm very confrontational averse, because it's just, what's the point? You know what I mean? I want people to be happy, and like if there's something you can say to correct someone's behavior, that's cool, but otherwise there's no reason to battle. Because when you battle, people spark up, But I was just like I was like tired. I was in the middle of a tour. I was like, fuck this guy. So, and I was just like, you can't behave that way at a show. Like you're distracting. Everyone is paying $20 to be there, and like people are bummed out at you, and like so.
Do you think he felt the same way as you?
No, because his email was and it got worse. Let me tell you this.
So you don't think that people were there, or you don't think he thought that people were there to see him?
Mixed drinks, right? And so then at the end of the email, he's like, I want a refund, and I'm gonna like contact Undertow to get a refund. And I'm like, dude, give me your.
So they pulled a Karen?
So I said, give me your Venmo, man. I'll send this. I'll send you money back in like 1 minute. So I send the email, and he sends me. I'm walking around like Houston. I'm going to the Manila. It's like there's a Dorothea Tanning exhibit. Max Ernst. They have like incredible shit there. It's a beautiful museum. And so I'm like walking around, and then he sends me another email that's also, it kind of ramps it up. And then Undertow calls me, and they're like, hey, there's someone who's like really mad at you. And now, I don't want Undertow to think I'm crazy, so I'm like starting to defend myself. You don't ever want to be defending yourself because you sound crazy. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, he started it. So then I'm like trying to tell her, like, listen, I'll send the money on my side, or you send it on your side, like whatever's easier. I just don't want to deal with this guy anymore. It's a nut job. And so then we hang up, and then I'm walking. And then she calls right back, Jane from Undertow, who's a genius. And Jane's like, hold the presses. His girlfriend just called and apologized and said that she bought the tickets and he called in to get money refunded on his credit card, not hers. So he was trying to get the money kicked back to her, and she found out about it, was like incredibly upset, and was like, he's like so embarrassed about this like behavior.
Good.
And then she said, I'm going to send in an extra $50 as a tip because he's like dealing with this. And at first, my first thought was like, I was like, Jane, maybe tell her not to do that. I was like, someone's got to pay. Like, someone's got to pay. Like, fuck all this shit. So, like, this guy was that crazy where he's trying to get like a refund on his credit card. So that's like the, did I answer the question? Am I even on the question? Yeah, that's the question, right? Like, these. And I added 2 words. This is a great poem. It's edited, it's condensed, and I added the word IKEA'd, IKEA-D. That's definitely was not a thing in 1960. And I added the word video. So full disclosure. But this is the saddest like love song to an ex. It's great. My old flame, my wife, poor ghost old love. My old flame, my wife. One day in June, I drove by our old house in Maine. Oh, everything's changed for the best. How quivering and fierce we were, simmering like birds. With our videos and records. Our old house, oh, everything's changed, bleached out and aired, IKEA and swept bare. Poor ghost, old love, speak
kept us awake at night. In one bed and apart, my old wife, my old flame. Burns. And she lives in New Orleans now, but she definitely had Florida ties too. But we met on the West Coast, and she was the reason why I moved to LA initially, before I moved to San Francisco. And we're still friends, and she's awesome.
And you're going to New
She was
Orleans?
smarter than me. She had better taste in music than me. I'm sorry.
You're going to New Orleans?
I'm gonna see. I'll see her.
Nice.
Yeah, she's awesome. She has a kid, and she's rad. And I remember her dad was worked with Ronald Reagan and was like a big wig in the Republican. And I remember I met him, and he just like taunted me, man. He just like went after me because he just knew exactly where I was coming from. And I did not have the ego or the gravity to defend myself. You know what I mean? I was like 18 years old, man. You know? I was born a couple miles from here. My family rented me this house. My family keeps me near. I was actually born at Alachua General, which I'm assuming is a couple miles from here.
It was.
From 1909, my family's run the town. You step out of line, of course, family council sits you down. I fell in love. Of course, we fucked around. The morning she threw up, my options were all laid out. I followed through. Now I got 2 sons. No peace, even when you come, 'cause they won't let you run. No, they won't let you run. I got dead drunk and packed up the pickup truck. Got way out of town. I thought sheriff tracked me down. They dragged me home. The family sat me down. They kept me cuffed up and they roughed me up and said, "We'll never let you run." No, no, they won't let you run. For people to get away from that. Any poets/lyricists who made a formative impression on you and your approach to songwriting? Any instrumentalists who had an analogous impact? Yeah, definitely. I would say that like David Berman and John Darnielle were very, very, and you know what? Honestly, like
Blonde on Blonde was really big for me because it was so funny. I thought like that. I loved how funny Bob Dylan was, and I liked how funny. I liked the schizophrenic shift on Bringing It All Back Home. These two sides that were very, very different. I also thought that was very funny. I like how funny rap is. I think that that's one thing that people don't. I think that Yeezus by Kanye West is one of the most interesting records of the past 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And people are really offended by that record because they don't really understand, like they don't think that it's actually very, very funny. Like it's extremely funny album. Like he's not really being serious. Like it's actually like hilarious. And like, so I think that like, there's a lot of writers in like indie rock, or I like Dan Behar a lot from Destroyer. He's really big for me. Do you have any pets? Tell us more. Pets. You know, I got the parasites. Oh my God, that was it. My cats are names. What was your best relationship romance and what made it so? Wow. Okay, this is the last one, and then I'm gonna play a song, and then you're gonna buy some stuff from me, and then we're gonna go home. I was with someone for almost 3 years named Dana Locke, and I think that what was great about it was that she has a real like art practice as a painter. She's incredibly, and this is what kind of deconstructed our relationship, but she was so ambitious and focused on working and painting. That's like the most appealing thing for me. Like she was just like completely, I mean, I knew that like if she ended up in a different city because of her work and her practice, that we had no shot, because I would never ever like get in the way of that. I just would not, I wouldn't do it. And so she was applying to MFA programs, and she applied to UCLA because I was living in San Francisco, and that was potentially going to be a part of me moving to LA. And then she got into Columbia, and then a die was cast. And we stayed together for as long as we could go back and forth, but it was like so painful to be that far away from someone. And then when she got out of Columbia, she got hired to work at Columbia, and that was it. That was the end, because I would never have taken her away from that job. And so we had this like conscious decoupling, like Goop style, where she came to San Francisco for 2 weeks, and we talked about breaking up. And it was like so sad and so necessary. We're still really close, but that was the one that got away. And in many ways, I never really met anyone like her since. What are you gonna do? But she's a big deal for me. Dana Locke, you should look her up too. She's a great painter. Okay, this is Transmanual. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Dan. Thank you, Andrew. So much respect and kindness when I walked in, and thanks for having, this is sacred. This is like a cathedral, right? This is like how we survive. This is how musicians survive.
Can I tell you a little small thing since
Hell
we're going
yeah.
on about this place? I started coming here when I was 13 years old. I'm 20 now, and like after 7 years, I think he got so sick of me that he just like had to hire me the 100th time that I asked him. So.
Yeah, that's what I don't give up sick with. Jump behind the counter.
That's true.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no,
man.
this place made the biggest impression on me as a kid, and just totally set the love for music and everything. So I'm
That's
glad
awesome.
you like it.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
man. And it's just like, it just makes, it adds gravity, and this is a cornerstone of any city that wants to have a cultural footprint. You
Yeah,
have to have a
totally.
meeting place like this. You need Wyatt Coffee, and you need, you know what I mean? You need these anchors of like rationality and like, I don't know, taste.
Yes.
Caffeine's a drug, this shit's a drug, trust me. Cross the palisade at the Holiday Inn, the Mujahideen barricades, and just walk right past the bullhorns and sleepy 47s right by the coalition guards. I'm in the back of the second floor basement,
I'll have my editors arrange for payment. Come to me now, you are warming weather. Come to me now, the kind that comes with sandbags along the river. Wear your aqua mirabilis dotted on your pulse points. A miraculous transformation, my illusions. You are a vision in the air. Just it there. Oh, dressed like that, you are a flag of the dangerous nation. Oh, dressed just like that, you are some kind of declaration. Come to me now, you are warming weather. Come to me now, the kind that comes with sandbags along the river. Cowboy bars and dance clubs don't exist. The trance manual says just stand alone and shift and shift. Come to me now, you are warming weather. Come to me